As soon as the sun comes out, our promenade's full of people.
So what's Morecambe famous for? I mean, it's featured in the plays of Alan Bennett as the backdrop. It's obviously the land of Eric Morecambe. It's been in the Bay. It's obviously the land of Tyson Fury. It's a place that's been through some real ups and downs. It was a booming seaside resort in this kind of mid-20th century, but it's also been through some real rough times. So we've come here to speak to the locals and find out a bit more about its kind of turbulent, rocky history and what's next.
I was actually born locally in Lancaster. Some of my early youth was in the south of England, in Buckinghamshire. I'd lived down there till I was 12. But the draw to come back to sort of Morecambe, Lancaster area was more from my mother and father, because my mother was at Lancaster as well. And my father in his youth also worked in Morecambe.
I lived here until I was about 18, went away travelling to university, to Leeds, and moved back here just before COVID really, which wasn't really intentional, but it was a good time to move back as well, to be near the seaside, you know, when you can't really go many places.
I'm the owner of the Bayside Emporium antique shop on Morecambe Promenade. I've been here about 10 years. I've always lived in Morecambe since I was a toddler. I'm 61 now. I was educated in Morecambe. I grew up in the late 60s and 70s when the town was booming.
Can you tell us more about life in Morecambe in those times, in 50s, 60s? What was Morecambe like?
Well, mostly people, you know, went out to shows. We had different shows. We had the pier had a show, and you know, all the local people used to come down to those. And then, of course, we had the sons and we had the donkeys.
A long and unfortunate series of events took their toll on Morecambe over the years. In the late 1970s, West End Pier was lost in a storm and its remnants demolished, and the already fire-damaged Central Pier was demolished in the early 90s. Then, much-loved Bubbles, Frontierland and Pontins also eventually shut down. By the turn of the millennium, with the arrival of the budget airline, holiday trends lean much more towards cheap package deals abroad. The boom time Morecambe, when was that, and what was what were the sort of key highlights? Yeah,
50s, 60s. I mean, that wasn't really that big then. But then cheap Spanish holidays killed all the holiday resorts in England. You know, guaranteed good weather and a cheap flight.
You don't? Do you account any of that to like the sort of the Pontins closing down, or
Pontins closed down because everybody went to Spain.
Right, gotcha.
A few people in the town that sort of attribute the decline of the tourists to the power station, because all the power station workers were staying here at that time, such as my dad. But I don't think so. I think everybody was going to Spain and Greece anyway. It was the birth, the advent of the cheap package holiday, you know. So yeah, for me, it was still a great place. It was kind of thriving and buzzing. There was the dolphins. There was all sorts of stuff going on, but completely gone by the time I came back, you know.
But now, Morecambe is potentially being offered a brand new lease of economic life, the Eden Project. It all sounds pretty promising as a world-class attraction, but is it all glitz and glory for everyone here? So this Eden Project then, what are your thoughts?
Eden? Well, it's quite conflicting for me personally. I'm not too sure how well it's going to do for the area. Obviously it's brilliant to have investment and have new things coming, and as I said, Morecambe doesn't really have a lot of other activities. I just worry that people will come see that and not want to stay because there's not really much else to do.
If it does anything like the one in Cornwall, it'll be good for the town because it'll bring jobs for the locals. I believe down in Cornwall there was a lot of jobs went to locals, and it'll bring more tourists, which is good footfall for us. So there's quite a bit of accommodation up the West End, so when they're walking from their accommodation to the Eden project, they will pass us and we'll be able to catch them with signs and things. But I think it will benefit the town, if it ever happens, that is.
There was a buzz around town, the investors were coming in, people were saying, oh, it's going to be great. But I feel that it's slightly going off the boil now because there aren't any shovels in the ground. We're in a bit of a stagnated limbo. The investors aren't as prevalent as they were, and people are starting to doubt. So that's not good for the town.
First and foremost, I'm a resident of Morecambe, where we live here by the beautiful seaside, and we absolutely love it. And then also a business owner, so myself and my wife run a financial advice firm in Morecambe. And then thirdly, my third hat, I'm the Vice President of Lancaster and Morecambe Chamber of Commerce. People are right to be cautious about it, but my point is, and the point of the businesses here, is that we need to start making changes for the better now.
This dangling carrot, the Eden project, has energised the town and people of Morecambe, given them some optimism. And I think even for the people that it hasn't, it's definitely got everybody talking. Despite the downturns in recent decades, when you speak to these people now, there's a sense of resilience, community and togetherness, topped off with a good bit of eccentricity, where you can't help but think that even without the Eden project, things are looking good around the corner.
If you've ever looked at Morecambe in an evening and seen the sunset over the bay, it is by far one of the nicest sunsets that you'll ever see in the country. We really are blessed to live in such a beautiful place.
Oh yay! Welcome to Morecambe! Oh yay! Welcome to Morecambe!